writes, Dan, if we can't look back and say this was a terrible trade, talking about the Gobert deal, then we can't say the Herschel Walker trade was terrible. What planet are we residing in right now? Maybe it's a bit to get me going.
Which NFC Championship game was Herschel Walker in with the Vikings? Back-to-back?
I don't
Was he 98?
Honest to God.
Was he 09?
Here, this might be the answer. This comes from Southeast Sam Guy. Dan, what you're seeing with Rudy is a society that has lost its ability to engage in a nuanced discussion. I think we can all agree Rudy is not Michael Jordan. You're out of your mind if you don't see the contribution he's made to the Wolves over the last few years. Now, I can even live with an argument of, eventually did you box yourself in too much? But his contract is not crazy anymore.
Right.
The last contract did not put them in any kind of salary, in of itself, did not put them in any kind of salary cap hell.
They had to pay him longer than original.
Yes, but they fewer, a lower amount per year.
By about $10 million a year. I think it's about 30. I'm going to look it up.
This is Brett from Invergrove Heights. Dan, I remember you sending a text, might have been a tweet, during last season's playoffs stating that the Knicks would never win a championship with Brunson running their offense. Cat and, frankly, the rest of the team were being underutilized in Tibbs' offense, your guy. Interestingly enough, Brown is getting a lot of praise, but the Knicks don't run his offense during the season, or didn't, should say. Fortunately for the Knicks, they figured it out. Now I have to see if they have the formula to defeat the Spurs. We talked about this a couple days ago. I am a Tibbs guy. But this is Mike Brown, or people around him, even if they had the gift of an easier route to get through the Eastern Conference playoffs, there's no arguing with the position they're in. They've now won, what is it, 12 in a row?
I think that's right.
I think it's now 12 consecutive games. Here, let me give you one other stat related to the winning streak, if I can indeed find it here on the fly. There's a Towns item. There's the court storming.
Dr. Dan's inbox an hour and change from now, by the way. JG at KFAN.com if people want to get in. We're still looking for submissions.
The Knicks have outscored their opponents by 272 points in the past 12 games. That's the best 12-game stretch from any team in NBA history, regular season playoffs. At some point, it's rendered moot who you're playing if you're continuing to dominate. Now, they didn't dominate last night's game, but when they did take it over, they took it over.
They took it over. Brunson smelled blood.
Yes.
Cat got him back in.
Brunson down the stretch was terrific. Yep. Cat got him back in. And
it was a great game.
And again, I think they're leaving Cat out, there's an easy team to root for, even if people want to root against him because they're New York-based. How about Josh Hart as an example?
Love him.
He scores 3 points and was brilliant. 15 boards, 6 assists, 4 steals, a plus 32. How could you not? I mean, that's the kind of blood and guts guy, right, that we talk about.
Was he the guy, too, when Brunson hit the dagger 3, it was kind of like a broken fast break, and most people... I think he got it kind of in the front court or in the back court, right. And he could have pushed it. He could have pushed the envelope a little bit.
Oh, yes, that was
thrown it to Bridges a little bit.
Yes, it was a good move.
But recognizing the situation and saying, we might be able to go get a quickie here. No, I'm going to hold up. We're going to run some clock. I'm going to get it to Brunson. And he hit the 3. I think it put him up, whatever it was, 7 or 8. And they were able to run a full 24. He's just a smart player.
Extremely. Yeah. They're well put together. They are extremely balanced. And another key point that I think I quoted Sam on this a couple days ago. He brought it up again today. They're 2 forwards. He's one of them, obviously. But I can't even pronounce the guy whose name starts with an A.
Oh, Anunoby?
Anunoby. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah. OG. He's a damn good player. He's a great defensive player.
He is.
He's a damn good player. They are very different with the forwards they have. They're a very different team. And then you add, who's the backup center who has the fractured hand?
Mitchell Robinson. He didn't play huge minutes. His numbers weren't amazing, but you noticed him. He takes up space. He has to be accounted for. He gets rebounds. It's now again, I don't want to say the series is over because
I thought it'd be a 6-game series, and the Spurs are still damn good. And the Spurs, remember, they were down to us 1-0. They were down to OKC 2-1. So I'm not ready to say, like Sam is, that it's a sweep, but nevertheless.
Along the same lines, though, of
yes.
like the Rudy and everything, I think it's worth, not to be like Chris Finch, who said, well, yeah, the Spurs young guys are good. They're all top 5 picks. But it is worth mentioning. You mentioned Anunoby. He's making $5 million more than Jalen Brunson this year.
It's a great point.
He's making $39 million. He's the second highest paid player on the team, right? He's important, obviously. But you got to factor in the move that Brunson made when you're talking about Cat and Rudy and the contracts and how is this all going to fit. Brunson signing the contract that he signed, he's getting paid $34.9 million this year. Okay, Cat's getting 53, and it's going to go up. Brunson is dramatically and drastically and probably criminally underpaid. Maybe not criminally. And this is
basketball crime.
This is their last year. Next year, they've got some of the same choices to make that the Wolves had to make.
Exactly.
Because they're not in the second apron now. They're in the first apron. They stayed under the second. Brunson's contract allowed them to do that so they could go out and make some other supplementations. Quite frankly, take on Karl Anthony Towns when they did the trade. They couldn't do that if Brunson had, let's say, the Anthony Edwards contract that he probably should have. Yeah. So everybody, it's got to come from somewhere. Oklahoma City's about to go through that.
Yes.
Their 3 guys are about to go through the roof. We'll see what the Knicks look like this year. Now, if you maximize it and the Knicks win a title, nobody cares if they have to blow it up.
They don't, yeah.
But
that's true.
Every team now, because of this second apron stuff, is having to make decisions, or players are having to make concessions. And good for Brunson. He's going to be a legend in New York forever if they finish this thing off. He probably already is. Yeah. And maybe he gets that money back somehow. But he gave up $100 million to do what he's doing.
It's interesting. We were talking with Sam about Kyrie. And that is thought, Kyrie is with the Dallas Mavericks now. Who used to own the Dallas Mavericks?
Mark Cuban.
How many times, who was talking about this today? I heard this on some show earlier today. It was a great point. Mark Cuban used to own the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban, on every single podcast he can ever get on, says, what? If I was still owning the team, there's no way Luka would have been dealt. What does he say to the fact that he could have had Jalen Brunson for $50 million? Not $50 million a year, for the whole contract. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's how the Knicks stole him. He didn't want to pay Jalen Brunson $50 million. That was on his watch.
It was.
He can't blame that on the guy who traded Luka.
Remember, Krager's was in an elevator with Cuban, I think.
Oh, is that right?
Krager's, and he was talking about Brunson, who was a second-round pick. Again,
it's very true.
That's something to remember, too.
That's it.
And Krager's was talking to him about Brunson, and he claims Cuban said, yeah, we're not going to be able to pay him, though. We're not going to, he's great. It's awesome, but we're not going to be able to pay him. Hasn't aged well.
Only Sam, writes Tim in Walker, can spell it out like that. Quote, Wemby ain't no horse pulling a buggy. He's a thoroughbred. Let him get out and run. Todd writes, to my ongoing regret for not using the "you can't handle the truth" line on Randy Moss when he called into the Mike Tice live program decades ago. Here's what Todd writes. Dan, can you handle the truth that if you had said you can't handle the truth to Moss, you might be remembered for saying just that more than anything you've ever said in your life? You might have forever been the shock jock, you can't handle the truth guy from Minneapolis, and still not one of us. As a wise man once said, some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah, you might have gotten like a blog about it. Minneapolis host goes Jack Nicholson on Randy Moss. You might have gotten some infamy that way, but that's not what you're not a radio infamy guy.
I think there's moments like that, but you don't plan them. But yeah, you're right. That's not the bit.
By the way, when you're reading the text now that say Dan, you're saying it like Sam Mitchell says it to you. I don't know if a 40-minute conversation.
That's all it takes.
Now you've become Sam Mitchell. Dan,
how long do you think we could have gone? The rest of the show.
Yeah, we probably should have.
I thought of it, but then I said, well, we got to take a break.
It would have been an expensive day.
That's very true.
We would have had to do some maintenance.
And then chances are he goes, I don't want to hang through a break. This is from Jeff. And he doesn't say Dan at the start of it. I'm just adding that.
Think about this.
That's what I'm doing. Do you remember when we gave away Randy Moss, Kevin Garnett, and David Ortiz, and they all quickly went on to win titles or at least go to the Super Bowl? Now it's Sam Darnold, Cat, probably give Royce Lewis away, and he will have a Hall of Fame career.
Good one.
That's the next one, maybe.
Or Buck. If Buck says...
Buck.
Oh, man. Buck would be like Towns,
we
too.
We got so many.
We have so many good players that couldn't win here.
Yeah.
Mike Madonna. Now, it's not the franchise left.
Yeah.
We didn't trade him.
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, you're right about that.
Man.
All right, let's try to get somewhat back on schedule. We need another, when we come back, let's shift the gears a little bit and offer another. I vowed that we were going to continually attempt to appreciate this player who I still think is not receiving proper due. Maybe in part it's because of the sport that he plays. But we can't, it's inescapable, especially after last night. So we're going to get back to that, and we'll cover a lot of other ground. Don't forget the inbox will be open in about an hour. Email jg@kfan.com with your contributions.
You're listening to Barrero on The Fan.
From the 1-800...
Ohtani, Dateline Phoenix, Arizona last night. He posts 6 innings of 2-hit baseball, 6 strikeouts in the Dodgers' 7-0 victory of the Diamondbacks. It is his 3rd consecutive scoreless performance. You'll recall he was bitter. We talked about it. Because of crappy control, he actually did give up a run without giving up a hit last time because of a number of walks, right? Well, he also last night, by the way, went 3 for 4 at the plate. He only reached base safely 5 times. His earned run average has been lowered to a league best 0.74. His batting average raised to 3.01. Now remember,
that's pretty good.
By his standards, he was kind of in a hitting slump. As his starting pitching was better and better, Cy Young level, seemed like maybe something was happening with his hitting. Well, I don't think we have to worry about that anymore. He got a 2-day rest. He was not started for 2 straight games. Apparently, they worked on some mechanical changes to his posture in the batter's box. And he's entered play last night batting, since the adjustment, I guess I should say, .415 batting average with nearly as many walks, 12 as strikeouts. So he continues to be as good a starting pitcher as there is in baseball in terms of performance, and he's rounding back into shape as one of the very best premier hitters in the game, too. And half the country just says, okay, all right, we're happy for you.
Yeah.
It's great. What do you want me to do about it?
Well, I think this show is a good microcosm of it. You bring it up, and I'm like, yeah, he's pretty good. I'm still not watching. I haven't found a way to watch him yet. Because you're right, it's absurd. It's almost too absurd. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel. You just feel like you're kind of numb to it by now.
Here's what's happened. He's been so good. He's normalizing numbers that can't be normalized. But because we've now grown accustomed to these numbers with him, it's not even. It feels like it's not even worth reporting on. So Ohtani, another one of those games. Yeah, he got on base how many times? 5. How'd he pitch? Well, he didn't give up a run. Huh. Did he pitch a complete game, though? No. So, I just don't want to let it go by without at least acknowledging this. Now, if the new salary cap goes into effect, one thing we didn't talk about with Gleeman yesterday is, I assume contracts that they're already in place would have to be grandfathered in, right? How do those get calculated if suddenly, the Dodgers have to shave $250 million off their payroll?
Right.
Now, of course, in his case, so he's got that weird contract, though, right? He's making like $5
with deferred money, which I still don't understand how any of that's legal.
I'm not sure I understand that.
By the way, I did some quick counting.
Yes.
And that's always dangerous.
Yes, it is.
But I would say there is a very good chance that he will be on the mound when the Dodgers come to town in just less than 3 weeks.
You think we can get him in studio?
June 22nd, no. June 22nd, June 23rd, and June 24th. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at Target Field. I would imagine that'll be a nice gate. People will show up to watch him.
Well,
middle of June, that'll be nice. 3-night games.
I'm glad you brought that up. I had this is a courtesy of Dan Winnesota. This is I don't know that this would be calendar of calamity. I guess it'd be more that it's one of those on this date stories. On this date in 1982, the longest losing streak in Twins history ends at 14.
Nice.
With a 6-0 shellacking of the Orioles at the Metrodome. Here's the kicker that I enjoyed. As a promotion, everyone who witnessed the streak end received a $1 ticket for a future game. So does that say back then there was such a thing as a $1 ticket? Or does that mean $1? I mean, to apply to a ticket. Now, again, ticket prices were a lot more reasonable then. What does that mean? I'm reading it just as it's written.
Yeah, I bet there were $1
Probably $1 tickets. What is that something, in order to continue to inflate attendance, well, let me ask it this way. Forget the dollar. If 3 times a week, all right, no, let's not be ridiculous. Let's say once a week, the Twins literally opened their gates and said, this game's on us. Could they, even in that situation, fill the place?
Yes.
You think they could?
I think they could, yeah. I think they could.
Have they thought about that? Because then
probably
that's another way to inflate attendance numbers and go, hey, what's people saying we're not drawing, we're drawing really well.
What was the price? I remember way back in the day at the Dome, and somebody with a better memory or who was more locked in will give us the specifics. I'm trying to Google them quickly. But remember they used to have the knothole tickets? Twins knothole tickets. Were you ever familiar with those?
I do. That sounds familiar.
Was it like Sunday afternoons?
Yes.
And they were above the baggie in right field.
They were. You're right.
And you could get them for like $2.50.
That's true.
I remember going to a bunch of games like that when I was a kid. And it was just a cool idea. Because you feel like, I always think it's good when the fan feels like they're getting one on you. Because every other, especially now, every other team and organization, they're nickel and diming you for everything, right? They are getting everything out of you. Everything's on an app. They've got your data. They know what food you want to get. They know what discount you want for this. They are mining you for every information. It's okay every once in a while to let the consumer think, we're getting one over on. We're doing the knothole tickets.
Yes, yeah.
$2.50 and we're here. Now I'm going to go get my malt cup. I feel like it was like $2 tickets for that. So to answer your question about the $1 ticket, I'm sure they probably had something like that in 1982 because things weren't that expensive.
That's a long time ago. Yeah, you're right.
They just weren't that expensive.
18 and 26, that's like 44 years ago?
Well, I was born in 82, so I'm pretty good at this one. 43 and a half, 44 years.
Student nights at the Dome were $4, somebody said. They're also saying your math's off, that if Ohtani pitches every 5th game, he will not start versus the Twins, scheduled for Friday, June 26th versus the Padres.
It could be true. I mean, I just kind of counted it on the fly.
Yeah. That would be a nice little perk, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
because they have an off day in between. That's too bad.
He's elevated himself to that kind of curiosity, I think. He really has.
Do you think he rushes back, though?
You would simply go there, for no other reason but just to see him and to watch him perform, right?
And against the Twins, you might get a no-hitter.
That's true. When are they here?
22nd, 23rd, 24th of June.
So you still be able to see him hit.
Yes.
Right? At least that. So.
Absolutely.
Huh. With parking being $25, it will still be tough. Is parking... Are we out of line compared to other cities when it comes to parking? Like in the municipal lots? I keep hearing that. Is it...
Maybe. I don't...
Is it much worse? Like, because I think for Wolves games, I don't know what it is. Is it for Twins games? Is it 25?
I don't know. I haven't been
Event
in years. Yeah, for Wolves it was 25 in the ramps, ABC.
Right.
Now there's other options. There's other ramps, but typically that's where I would park.
Well, it only took them, me whining about it for, was it about 20 years for them to finally figure out, pay up front.
Yeah.
And then the gates can be open and everybody can leave. It's remarkable how much easier, and still can, be a little slow.
Yeah, if you're all leaving at the same time.
Nowhere near what it used to be. Don't be dope. Got to wait, for the arm to go down, and then somebody's got to, and then the guy in front of you, of course, the credit card falls off out of his hand before he can slide it into the aperture in the machine.
It's a comedy.
So then he's got to try to open the door, but he can't open the door because the door's right next to the arm itself.
Right.
And meanwhile, you get home maybe at 2:30 in the morning. Just because some numbskull couldn't figure out, well, let's just make them pay up front, and then everybody wins, and it's not going to be that. If I guess it's the old deal of, well, what if somebody comes really late,
right,
and then they're going to be able to walk out of there for free?
Right,
well, big deal,
right, or early,
like $25.
Yeah, exactly,
something to that effect.
We change lives. We've talked about it a number of times.
We definitely try. That's for sure. Inbox, as I said, 5:30. Top 5 at 5 coming up. Are you going to have some KOC sound for the top 5?
I wasn't planning on it, but I guess I can.
I can send you the one that I alluded to earlier in the show about the quarterback competition. That I think that would be worth playing.
We'll mix that in.
And we didn't play the cat sound still. Maybe we save that for the top 5 too, although that might be a little bit depressing for people, Wolves fans especially. Back in just a minute right here on the Fan.
Bumper to bumper.
For the top 5 at 5. Inbox will be open at 5:30 today. Extended conversation with Sam Mitchell that I think we wrapped it up. We started it about 3:30 and we wrapped it up about 4:10.
Yeah.
Straight through.
It's great.
Sam was definitely at his he's always good, but he was very worked up today. And believe me, I didn't feed him any Rudy Gobert stuff. I just let him go on that. He did seem intrigued about Kyrie. I think in the end, that's probably going to come down to what you have to give up, how much you have to give up.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be that much.
It shouldn't. You're right. But then it also probably has to start with Dallas wants to do it.
Right.
Right? Or if Dallas says they're going to do it, maybe they feel like they get something else better. Because if you're Dallas, do you really want Julius Randle? I mean,
probably not.
Probably not. But then I don't know how many years is left on his
Dallas,
deal.
though,
He is from Dallas. That's true.
I think doesn't he have 2 years left? He signed a 3-year deal.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
He's building like a ranch in Texas.
Oh, is that right?
Yes.
Oh.
Kind of their forever home.
I see.
The family's dream spot. Looks pretty solid.
614 guy writes, it's a sports abyss when my 3-year-old asks, why are they talking about parking and not sports? Well, your 3-year-old probably wasn't listening that long. We've been talking about nothing but sports the whole show. My God. How long were we on parking? A minute?
And it was about how much it's going to cost to go to a game.
Yeah, and I think it's my own fault because we've run the abyss thing into the ground, so people are conditioned.
They're just looking for it.
To think about it. So they make the assumption every time there's a departure, we're going to slightly different route. Oh, must be the abyss. I guess the abyss. No, it isn't. We like talking about the abyss, and maybe we do talk about it too much. But a lot of the departures we're just as capable of doing in the non-abyss periods. It's not, and as you say, in this case, it's parking to go to a game.
Right. We were talking about Ohtani.
Sports related. Just take the light rail if you don't want to pay for parking. Right, 763 guy. Yeah, what about the light rail?
I did think about that, but I wanted to save you from the text about the light rail not being safe, which are also just on cue.
That's true.
That's sad in a way that
so
take the light rail, but I just don't want you to get, because we've got Dr. Dan's inbox coming up at 5:30. I need the text line, the Bradshaw and Bryan text line, to be a good place. I can't have it be a bad place before 5:30. But I literally thought, well, light rail would be fine, but then cue the texts from Bram that are going to be talking about how the light rail is not safe.
Here's a good baseball question. This is a good philosophical question. Could Ohtani get hits off Ohtani? That's deep. That's really deep.
Whoa.
Think about that.
I don't want to. My head's already spinning.
Which Ohtani has the advantage? I got to believe the pitcher. Ohtani the pitcher. Because pitching always, like not always, usually not, dominates good hitting or is better, more successful than even some of the greatest sluggers in history.
Well, let's inception this one more level, though.
Okay.
Because Ohtani, the pitcher, knows the weaknesses of Ohtani, the hitter.
Yeah.
But
doesn't Ohtani
the hitter would probably know what Ohtani, the pitcher, is thinking in a situation, too. It'd be fascinating. Isn't it the battle we all fight with ourselves, Dan?
Yes, it is.
Every day.
It's true. Sad but true.
The biggest battle we have is against ourselves.
Dodgers use a 6-man rotation, somebody said. Is that true?
It is. That's why it looks like it, because when I was counting it, it didn't make sense in my head where I was continuing to slot Ohtani. So I'm sorry for giving false hope to those that wanted to see him. He might be there, and I think I did say he may be in line. I didn't say for sure lock it in. I just did a quick count.
In 2009, upper deck seats in the Dome were $200 for an 81-game season ticket. That's $2.49 per seat per game. Is that true?
Probably, yeah.
200 upper deck, 81 games, $200?
Probably.
That's not 2000. So that's, that's a couple decades ago, I guess.
It's almost 20 years ago, 17 years ago.
Yeah, that might be it.
And you got to remember the Dome. It was the Dome.
Yeah, it was. It was.
And there's a lot of games, so the price per game, it's not like not like an NBA game where the best seats are, $700-800 every single game.
I mean, if you look back on it, in terms of baseball, the only thing that saved the Dome from being constantly mocked and ridiculed was the 2 World Series runs.
Yeah.
And how those places got transformed, right, into baseball celebrations. Because I do remember the first few games I covered there, and it's a rude awakening when you are used to outdoor baseball, you're used to, ballparks, not structures, an erector set structure like that. You're going, what? This is baseball? Really? And then eventually you grow accustomed to it because you have to. It's just because it's not as new. But
you're used to
the first few times, it was like, my God. Football had always felt a little different because it's football, right? But baseball, it's like, oh my.
And football, there were others like it.
Well, even in all honesty, if you go back to 87, my recollection is the attendance was not absurdly good because they were just from a win-loss record, cute little club, and nobody could envision what was coming, right? And then it obviously picked up at the end, and then the postseason, you couldn't get a ticket. And it was magnificent atmosphere in there. But it was because of the ball being played and because of the fact that it was now full. And it was easier to forget how crappy a structure it was for baseball when it was full, right? And you had something to play for. That's it.
Exactly.
Those are the only reasons. Since we are in the abyss, Austin from Apple Valley writes, since we are in the abyss, are you going to share the story of the Indiana Fever beat writer that got banned? Yeah. In fact, my plan is to probably get to that after the top 5 at 5. I want to give it a few minutes to breathe. So we will get to that story. Really, there's a couple of Indiana Fever stories. The other involves Clark herself, right?
Yes, and the head coach. They allegedly have
buried the hatchet, so to speak. How true that is, I don't know. Well, and that's, you and I, something we need to talk about because also when we get to it, the video, people took the video that was shown as open confrontation in the huddle. Clark was attempting to claim, and I want to know how persuasive she was with you in this sense, that we're just talking. It's not that big a deal. We're just talking. It's not that, and that could well be her trying to downplay it.
Yeah.
Because we do see stuff that happens in huddles all the time.
For sure.
But it's Caitlin Clark, so that has to be put into the mix. I had a hockey text here, believe it or not. We got game 2 tonight, by the way.
Yes, right here on the Fan.
Wild took it in the shorts, the Parisian suitor, because after they signed the CBA, the CBA changed max length, how money could be allocated per year not allowed to back or front load, etc. Wild contracts didn't comply, and they were penalized for it. That sounds vaguely familiar. I think there were. I thought part of the issue, too, for a while, wasn't part of the issue is that we expected better, or quicker growth when it came to the cap number?
Totally. Yes.
That was a part of it. I think now it has started moving in the right direction.
A little bit.
But then that further complicated our situation.
Yes, and that's part of the Wolves thing, is the second apron showing up after they've made the Rudy deal, after they've said we're going to pay the Supermax. Like, they hit that mark quicker because of it accelerated it faster than some of these other teams who, as we've talked about, are about to have their come to Jesus financial issues. The Wolves had that, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. So you got to remember who they would have lost and who they wouldn't have been able to acquire. It's not just the money.
It's a combination of things.
The ability to make transactions are very difficult when you're in the second apron. There's a lot of things you can't do.
Is there any way to blame any or all of that on the Rudy Gobert acquisition?
The second apron?
Well, that too, but I'm talking about even the Wild. I mean, the anti-Rudy people are ready. Yeah. They probably try to find a way to blame him for that. They blame him for pretty much everything else, that's for sure. Tom raises a good point. How many years until Woods Richardson wins a Cy Young for the Toronto Blue Jays? Since we had Gleeman in studio, we talked about the rise and fall of Woods Richardson, and then we traded him, right? And you know what's funny about it? You know me, I hate being the cynic. We just got a relief pitcher. His name escapes me. A hard throwing reliever.
Yep.
That I think we paid cash for him. And so when I hear about Woods Richardson being traded, I believe what we got in return was cash.
It was.
And that was my first thought was, wait a minute, we paid? Well, we're going to get that money back somewhere. Sounds like we may have gotten it back already. Because I'm that cynical about the way the Twins operate. That, well, we can go ahead and add that player for cash, but you better find a way to get that cash back. And I don't know if those numbers match up.
Money in, money out.
But we did get some money back, apparently, for the is it Simeon? I think it's Simeon Woods Richardson.
Simeon Woods Richardson.
Who was a crafty veteran until he was terrible. And this year he's been awful, and he probably 2 years from now will win the Cy Young with the Toronto Blue Jays. Top five includes?
By the way, he's 25 years old, Simeon Woods Richardson.
So he's not that old.
No,
okay.
Think about that.
Yeah.
He's just been around forever.
Yeah,
They've been
true.
waiting for him. And unfortunately, it's Toronto's deal now. We'll talk Twins, we'll talk NBA Finals, we'll talk Stanley Cup Finals, and KOC on the QBs.
You're listening to Barrero.